provide you with the lowest per GB rates, night or day. SLT 4G, driving you ever forward.
Making headlines on First at 9, felicitating outstanding Sri Lankans. Derana Sri Lankan of the Year 2018 honours Sri Lanka's best. A new beginning. President Maithripala Sirisena to address the 73rd United Nations General Assembly tomorrow. Defending Sri Lanka. World Sri Lankan Association stresses that UNHRC should conduct an investigation into the financiers of the LTTE.
There are several countries, they are collecting the funds. Transnational LTTE government is existing.
Maldives election. Opposition leader Ibrahim Mohamed Soli wins the Maldivian presidential election. Offering clarification. Angelo Matthews steps down from post of ODI captaincy, says he was used as a scapegoat. A very good evening to all of our viewers who have joined us here on First at 9 at Derana 24/7, Sri Lanka's news channel. I'm Katharina Chang. Now on to your top story tonight. Derana Sri Lankan of the Year 2018, the National Awards ceremony felicitating Sri Lankans who have defied the convention and raised the bar of excellence was held for the third consecutive year in Colombo. Awards were presented under 13 categories at this year's ceremony to those individuals that have displayed exceptional intellectual integrity with ingenious skills and arts in serving the nation.
Derana Sri Lankan of the Year 2018.
Evening Sri Lanka, and welcome to the third edition of the Derana Sri Lankan of the Year 2018.
Derana launched Sri Lankan of the Year to honour and celebrate individuals and groups whose efforts and achievements have far-reaching influence on the country, positively impacting the local community and helping to profile Sri Lanka among the international community. The winners in their respective categories were selected by an 8-member judge panel following strenuous deliberations over the past 6 months.
Mr. Chandran Ratnam, Mr. Diane Gomez, Mr. Nalika Gunawardana. Jury President, Mr. Vijayappa.
The Global Professional for Derana 2018 was awarded to the former captain of the Sri Lanka cricket team, Ranjan Madugalla. Professor Gehan Amaratunga was felicitated with the Global Scientist Award for his academic contribution in sphere of science and technology. The Classical Entertainer Award was presented to veteran musician, composer and singer Dr. Rohana Veerasinghe. Popular entertainer at the Derana Sri Lankan of the Year was presented to Dr. Channa Vijayawardena. The award was accepted by his wife Upulipani Bharata at the ceremony. Dilantha Malagamuwa and Anusha Kodituaku were felicitated for their sportsmanship at the Sri Lankan of the Year. The Public Servant Award was presented to Samantha Gunasekara. Meanwhile, special honorary awards were presented to Joan Pires, Colonel Ratna Priyabandhu and the national netball team of Sri Lanka. 4 outstanding individuals were presented with the Bravery Award in recognition of their meritorious deed of putting the lives of others before theirs. This award was presented to Dilant Sampath, H.M. Kirti Bandara, Tharindu Dilmin Veerasinghe and Sachit Lakshan. The unsung hero was awarded to Martin Vijay Singha, who dedicated his life protecting the Singharaja rainforest.
Martin Vijay Singha.
Global Entertainer of the Year was awarded to Alston Koch and Abdul Hamid. Sri Lankan marine biologist, ocean educator and pioneer of blue whale research, Dr. Asha DeVos, was presented with the Emerging Global Scientist Award. The Global Businessman Award was presented to Group CEO of MAS, Ashraf Omar. Dr. Bandula Vijay was recognized as Global Inventor at the Derana Sri Lankan of the Year. Founder and visionary of Maga Engineering, M.G. Kularatna, was awarded the Entrepreneur Award. The Lifetime Achievement Award was presented to Deshamanya Dr. Vajira Chitrasena for her contribution in the field of dance.
festivals of this kind, award ceremonies, help the country in two ways. First, we discover who the talented Sri Lankans are. We encourage them to do more and also encourage others to come into the field.
What impresses me most is the humaneness and in the selection process. And it's not only the celebrities and the people who are in show business, but we go deeper into the character of our country.
This is an opportunity to celebrate everything that is right, everything that is good about Sri Lanka.
We didn't do what we did with an expectation of an award, but I think this is a great achievement and I'm really honored and absolutely happy today to receive this award.
I'm so glad that Ada Derana has an award for recognizing science, which is obviously the future of our society. And so I've received this award on behalf of all Sri Lankan scientists and also all Sri Lankan scientists who work globally.
After a long time, after 50 years, some recognition is given. That's from Ada Derana. I am very thankful to Ada Derana.
Sri Lanka is always been and will always be my home. So it's so exciting to receive an award, to know that Sri Lankans have actually recognized, a Sri Lankan who's come back and will always be back.
And if you work hard and if you believe in yourself, that you can achieve things. So I think that's a message you're giving to the nation, to the people of Sri Lanka, by recognizing few of us who have hopefully achieved certain things in our profession.
Actually, this is an award given not only for me, for the entire customs department, my officers, and also the NGOs and other lot of environmentalists behind me.
Honored to receive this award, and I also wish to thank Ada Derana for conducting this type of award ceremony to encourage Sri Lankans to do better and also as a nation.
You can win awards anywhere in the world, but winning it in your own country and being recognized by your country is obviously a huge, huge thing. It was a very emotional evening in many ways.
President Maithripala Sirisena is due to address the Nelson Mandela Peace Summit organised on the sidelines of the 73rd session of the United Nations General Assembly on Tuesday. The head of state will also take part in a special session to discuss the issues pertaining to drug menace and will be one of the keynote speakers at the Nelson Mandela Peace Summit. This event has been organised to mark Mandela's birth centenary. The 73rd United Nations General Assembly, which is to commence tomorrow, will be held under the theme Making the United Nations Relevant to All People, Global Leadership and Shared Responsibilities for Peaceful, Equitable and Sustainable Societies. President Sirisena is scheduled to address the UNGA tomorrow. This will be his fourth consecutive annual address to the world body. The World Sri Lankan Association is confident that the transnational LTTE governments who fund for the defeated terror group LTTE still exist and therefore reiterated that the United Nations Human Rights Council should initiate an investigation into the financiers of the LTTE. They made this remark at a press conference held in the UN Press Club today.
Question, because you say in the documentation that they seem that some Western countries continue to try to use the UN machinery to build a case against Sri Lanka. Can you name those countries and what are they trying to achieve through that, according to you?
LTT had a huge financial network around the world. When the war ended, they were generating something like $400 million a year, and that was used for arms procurement. When the war ended, the funding kept coming because they had a huge network, some legal businesses, some illegal businesses. So these people could use that money to lobby politicians, lobby organizations, lobby international institutions, and that's a huge amount of money that they could spare for this purpose. So we believe that is what perhaps influenced some of the politicians in the Western countries to talk on behalf of LTT even after LTT was defeated. That is why the very same day the war was ended, 17 countries want to bring a resolution talking about investigation. The war was there for 30 years. Thousands of civilians were killed in the most brutal manner. Nobody spoke about human rights at that time. When LTT was defeated, suddenly interest on Sri Lanka. So that is questionable. Why was this combating terrorism term removed, which is originally there in the 25/6 resolution. You're authorized to investigate a situation of combating terrorism. But when the report comes, it suddenly becomes internal armed struggle. So there was a manipulation.
When the LTT was blacklisted, banned, there are several countries, they are collecting the funds. International, transnational, LTT government is there in Denmark. This is where run by all these who escaped and those who are hiding in other countries. So Netherlands, one country. Specifically, there are certain schools, they run their schools, but they collect that money. Transnational LTT government is existing, but it has been banned. Even that ban, where is the UN Global Anti-Terrorism Financial Suppression Convention? Are they coming up with that? No. So the West basically must see it very, very clearly. The IOSL investigation, they never visited Sri Lanka soil. This was carried out in Thailand. I'll give the names. All these evidence were given by whom? All these people are in Tamil diaspora, those who are living in other countries. So how can you explain an independent investigation? But the issue is not that. They are once again supporting. Even the opposition leader of Sri Lanka is a Tamil one. So where we have done the discrimination. But they want to market this.
Meanwhile, the World Patriotic Lankan Forum revealed that the officials of the Sri Lankan Embassy in Geneva have hosted a dinner for the LTTE sympathizers in Geneva.
The officials of the Sri Lankan Embassy in Geneva have forgotten their own country and the war heroes to an extent where they hosted a dinner for the LTTE sympathizers. I request the President, Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs to look into this matter to find the truth.
When contacted, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, a spokesperson stated that the Sri Lankan ambassador for Geneva denied the allegation of hosting a dinner for the LTTE sympathizers.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe today responded to widespread criticism regarding the depreciation of the Sri Lankan rupee, attributing the rupee depreciation to the newly introduced economic reforms of the United States this year. The Prime Minister went on to say that the government is planning to limit imports of certain industries by imposing custom duties.
The 127th Udagammana model village constructed in Suryavava area in Hambantota was declared open under the patronage of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe.
There's a global economic crisis at the moment. The US dollar was strengthened while fuel prices were increased, so all countries are affected. The US Federal Reserve Bank increased the interest rate of the US dollar twice this year. This made everyone go behind the dollar, and this is why we were affected by the situation. Our US dollar reserves have decreased. Importers of Sri Lanka demand more dollars in exchange for goods and services. And our exporters weren't bringing their dollars to the country hoping for increased currency value in the near future. We expect to limit imports of certain industries at $500 million or $1 billion imposing customs duties. We need to pay off $4 billion worth of foreign debt next year. If we had that much of money this year, we won't have any of these problems and the Sri Lankan rupee wouldn't have depreciated like this.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that the disappearance of a sniper rifle from the Terrorism Investigation Division aroused suspicion over the alleged plot to assassinate President Maithripala Sirisena. The former president made this comment speaking to the media in Tangol today.
A Poet Day program was organised at the Carlton House of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa today. The former president also responded to the journalists following the event.
This cannot be stopped. We faced a hard time during the war compared to this. Their minds are occupied with political vengeance, so they don't have time to focus on this. If sniper rifles from such a body are being misplaced, then it is a big problem. There are allegations of assassination plots on the President and the former Defence Secretary. We have no idea on whom they would be used. No action have been taken on the alleged plot to assassinate the President when there are voice recordings.
Attorney at law Nagananda Kurituwaku accuses the JVP of engaging in an ingenuine and double-standard procedure to pass the 20th Amendment to the Constitution in Parliament. Kurituwaku made the remark at a media briefing held in Colombo today.
The Janata Vimukti Peramuna presented a bill, 20th Amendment to the Constitution. If you go through the bill which is published in the parliamentary website, you will observe the executive power of the executive president is completely taken away. And the executive power of the people is now transferred to the prime minister of this country. And the very objective of this 20th Amendment is to make the president impotent. With no executive power, not even a member in the cabinet of ministers. We, on behalf of the sovereign people, we challenge the bill before the Supreme Court because it's obviously violated the people's sovereign right. This bill very clearly violates people's executive power and also their franchise. No such a bill can be passed by the parliament without obtaining people's mandate at a referendum. It's a private member bill. The Attorney General, he must mention in his recommendation whether the bill require referendum. If we mention the bill require referendum, then the Speaker and the Secretary General of Parliament shall refer to the Cabinet of Ministers, and in the bill they should specifically mention this bill is intended to be approved by the people at a referendum. If they have complied with that requirement, none of us need not go before the Supreme Court and waste our time. It was deliberately avoided by the UNP, JVP and the TNA. And such a bill cannot be gazetted until such time that it is duly complied with the requirements set out in the Parliamentary Standing Order. It was not done. They challenge the citizens who challenge the bill in the Supreme Court. This is the certified copy of the affidavit filed by the JVP. Janata Vimukti Peramuna informed the Supreme Court that no referendum is required to pass this bill. This is a very serious wrongdoing. It is absolutely clear JVP is a political party which talk one thing and practice another thing. The party with two faces.
General Secretary to the Ravana Balaya Organization, Venerable Ittaikande Sadhatisathere, says that the security of the country is in danger due to the unacceptable behavior of some responsible officials. Venerable Tere made these remarks yesterday addressing a seminar in Kurunagala. Retired Major General Kamal Gunaratne also spoke at the seminar.
Polisiya දූෂිතයි. පොලිසිය ලොකු මහත්තයා කුල් ආතල් නේද කියලා හාමුදුරුවන්ගෙන් අහනවා. මිනිහා නැටුම් තෙල් ගහලා ඉඳලා තියෙන වෙලාවේ. මං අදත් කියන්නේ පොලිසියට ඇයි ඒ වෙලාවේ බැලුම් පිම්බුවේ නැත්තේ? රටේ ආරක්ෂාව සම්බන්ධ වෙන ප්‍රධානීය පිස්සු නටනකොට කොහොමද සනීපේ? දවසින් දවස අපිට හිතා ගන්න බැරි විදියට අපි පරිහානියට ලක් වෙමින් පවතිනවා. වීරයින් නැගේ කරන්න පුරුදු වෙන්න ඕන. ඉතිහාසය නැවත පොතට ගේන්න ඕන.
මෙතන මේ ඉස්සරහ ඉන්න රණවිරුවා පාද දෙකම අහිමි වෙලා අවුරුදු 23ක් මේ රණවිරුවා රෝද පුටුවේ වාඩි වෙලා ඉන්නවා. ඔබටත් මටත් යහපත් හිටක් උදා කරන්න ගිහිල්ලා. දැන් ඊයේ පෙරේදා ඔය යුද්ධෙ හිටපු දෙන්නෙක්ව එල්ලුම් ගහට නියම වුණා. ගෑනු දරුවෝ 3 දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. ගයක් හදන්න ගත්ත ණය අපේ හාමුදුරනේ ලක්ෂ 28ක් කොහෙද තියෙනවා ගෙවන්න. පඩිය නැවතිලා කවුරු වෙනුවෙන් කරන්න ගිහිල්ලාද? පපුවට තට්ටු කරලා අහන්න.
Chairman of the Sri Lanka Polujana Perumna, Professor G.L. Piris, insists that IGP Pujit Jayasundaram must temporarily be removed from his position until the investigation into the alleged plot to assassinate President Maithripala Sirisena and former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa are concluded. Addressing a media briefing organised by the Sri Lanka Polujana Perumna, Professor Piris also touched on the current economic situation in the country.
ආර්ථිකය මෙහෙවීම සඳහා මූලික ප්‍රතිපත්ති මාලාවක් සකස් කිරීමට පවා මේ රජය අපොහොසත් වෙලා තියෙනවා එකඟත්වයකින්. අගමැතිතුමා පත් කරලා තිබුණා ආර්ථික ප්‍රතිපත්ති පිළිබඳ කැබිනට් කමිටුවක්. අගමැතිතුමාගේ කමිටුව අහෝසි කරලා ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ ප්‍රධානත්වයෙන් වෙන ආර්ථික කවුන්සිලයක් පිහිටුවා. පළවෙනි එක අහෝසි, දෙවෙනි එක කිසිසේත් ක්‍රියාත්මක වන්නේ නැහැ. රාජ්‍ය ණය මෙහෙවීමේ කාර්යභාරය පැවරිලා තිබුණේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා මහා බැංකුව. ගිය සතියේ රජය තීරණයක් ගත්තා ඒ අතිශයින් වැදගත් කාර්යභාරය මහා බැංකුවෙන් ඉවත් කරලා මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශයට පවරා ගැනීමට. නාලක සිල්වා නියෝජ්‍ය පොලිස්පතිතුමා යටතේ තිබිච්ච මේ ත්‍රස්ත තොරතුරු අංශයට ලබා දීලා තියෙනවා LMG දෙකක්. ත්‍රස්ත විමර්ශන අංශයට මොනවටද මැෂින් ගන්න. සත්‍ය සොයා ගැනීම නම් මේකේ අරමුණ පොලිස්පතිතුමා මේ විමර්ශනය පවත්වන කාලය තුල ඒ ධූරයෙන් ඉවත් විය යුතුයි. මේ මැෂින් ගන් නාලක සිල්වාගේ TID අංශයට ලබා දුන්නේ පොලිස්පතිතුමාද? පොලිස්පතිතුමාගේ අනුමැතියක් තියෙනවා. CID එක පොලිස්පතිතුමාගේ ප්‍රකාශයක් වාර්තා කරගන්න. එයා මේකේ සාක්ෂිකාරී. සජාතීය පක්ෂයේ තියෙනවා කවුරු මොනවා කිව්වා පූජිත් ජයසුන්දර එතන ඉන්න ඕනේ කියලා. ඇයි? ජාතික මැතිවරණ එන අවුරුද්දේ එනකොට පොලිස්පතිතුමා එතන සිටීම එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයට තාමත් අවශ්‍ය දෙයක්.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Derana 24/7.
The Enterprise Sri Lanka subsidized loan scheme, which was introduced by the current government, has already loaned over rupees 49.1 billion to 22,947 individuals and institutions. Finance and Mass Media Ministry in a statement said that the loan scheme was introduced to create 100,000 new entrepreneurs. The significance of the loan scheme is either half or the full interest component of these loans is settled by the government. According to the Ministry, Bank of Ceylon has given the largest number of loans, amounting to 11,807. In addition, Regional Development Bank, National Saving Bank, People's Bank and few private banks are also in the list. The ministry further said that the budget 2018 has allocated over rupees 5.3 billion to pay only the interest component on these loans. China has accused the US of trade bullying after a new round of US tariffs on Chinese goods kicked in. The US imposed tariffs on a further $200 billion worth of Chinese products, the largest round yet in the escalating trade war between the economic superpowers. The tariffs are in response to what the US say are unfair trading practices by China. Beijing has retaliated with tariffs on $60 billion of US goods. In an official white paper, as reported by Xinhua news agency, China said the US was employing trade bullyism practices, intimidating other countries through economic measures and hurting the global economy. China has also accused the US of starting the largest trade war in economic history. The latest move takes the total amount of Chinese imports hit by US tariffs since July up to $250 billion. This means about half of all Chinese imports to the US are now subject to new duties. The latest escalation comes as China cancelled further trade talks with the US. The latest US duties apply to almost 6,000 items, making them the biggest round of trade tariffs yet from Washington. In a surprising turn of events, Maldivian opposition leader Ibrahim Mohamed Solih won at the Indian Ocean Archipelago's nation's presidential election today, defeating heavily criticized President Abdullah Yameen. This new development is seen as a possible blow for China, which has invested millions of dollars in projects under the outgoing administration. Maldives has become a key state in the battle for influence between India and China in South Asia. Incumbent Yameen, meanwhile, conceded defeat in a televised address to the island nation today.
Maldives held a tense presidential election yesterday that was regarded as a test for democracy and was closely watched by the international community, especially by India and China. Election Commission said vote turnout was 89.2% and opposition leader Ibrahim Mohamed Solih has won the election by a margin of 16.7%. Country's Election Commission said it would release official results by 30th of September as stipulated in the constitution. Jubilant supporters of the Maldivian opposition leader poured onto the streets last night to celebrate after he said he won the election. India and the United States congratulated Solih on his victory even before Yameen conceded.
This is a moment of history. For many of us, this has been a difficult journey, a journey that has led to a prison cell or years in exile. It's been a journey that has ended at the ballot box because the people willed it.
Although there had been concerns at home and abroad that incumbent President Abdullah Yameen might not accept the outcome, he conceded defeat in a televised address today. The incumbent had fostered closer ties with China and Saudi Arabia while drawing widespread criticism for jailing opponents. Meanwhile, island nation's first democratically elected former President Mohammad Nasheed, who is in exile in Sri Lanka, told reporters in Colombo today that the vote was for democracy and freedom.
We want to see a smooth transition. We do not want to see President Yameen back to his old tricks. No more Supreme Courts, no more martial law, no more emergency rule, no more suppression. We will hopefully again build a beautiful country.
Some international monitors, including from the European Union and UN, did not send teams to monitor the election, fearing their presence would appear to condone Yamin's re-election. The government also denied entry to foreign election monitors and journalists ahead of the election.
A second woman has come forward with allegations of sexual misconduct against President Donald Trump's U.S. Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh. Deborah Ramirez, a Yale University classmate of the judge, told The New Yorker that Kavanaugh had exposed his genitals at a dormitory party when she was a freshman alongside him during the 1983 to 1984 academic year. Journalists behind the piece say they contacted dozens of classmates to try to corroborate Ramirez's account. Meanwhile, Professor Christine Blasey Ford, who came forward last week alleging Kavanaugh had sexually assaulted her in early 1980s, has agreed to testify before the Senate committee on Thursday. The U.S. Supreme Court nominee has denied both allegations, labeling the latest a smear.
You are watching Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Ada Derana 24/7.
A very good evening to our viewers and welcome to Forecast First. Starting off with your temperatures for tomorrow that vary between 19 and 32 degrees Celsius with the highest of 32 expected in Mullaitivu. Well, when looking at the map, a low pressure zone will develop in the central hills and will gradually spread throughout the island. Well, moving on to your rain forecast for tomorrow, most parts of the upper region of the island, including Jaffna, Manna, Vaunia and Anuradhapura, will experience showers with thunder activity also expected. Well, it's no difference in the lower region of the island as many parts will experience thunder showers. That's all from the Weather Centre tonight. Up next is your city by city forecast.
Before we go, we'd like to take you to Idalgasina, a small village in Badula district. Idalgasina was established as a tea estate in 1984. The Idalgasina Pass is a prominent geological feature in the area and was regarded as a key entrance to the upcountry, with the Portuguese attempting to use the pass in their invasions against the Kingdom of the Kandy in the 16th century. We hope you enjoy these visuals and have a pleasant evening.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Ada Derana 24/7.